I'm Lee at Iridium. Hope everyone's doing all right today. I've got a new guest with me, Paul Swift. How you doing, mate?
Hi Lee, hi everyone. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, mate. And Paul's here because, well, it's a bit weird, isn't it, mate? Because we ended up not knowing each other. Well, we still haven't actually met, mainly because of COVID and all that bollocks. But we found out that we're massive Blackberry smoke fans and we live about 10, 15 minutes apart, probably, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, so, small world. Wasn't expecting you to live so close, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, so obviously the new Blackberry Smoke album's came out today, so the 27th of May. Before we start talking about that album, I was going to ask Paul quickly, just so he can just say how he came about getting into this band quickly, mate, if that's all right.
Yeah, no worries. So try and keep it short. Basically found on YouTube by chance the song called One Horse Town, based on other music that I listened to that was in the recommended videos. So I watched that one. I haven't really looked back since because that song was absolutely class. And since then, it's just become a bit of an obsession, really. I've pretty much got all the albums and pretty much listened to all the tracks. I'm always out there trying to find like new cover tunes. But yeah, I am a huge Blackberry Smoke fan. Yeah, it's just amazing. The band that keeps on giving.
Are they your favourite band? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
So that's 100%. Cool. See, I mean, I love Blackberry Smoke. They're probably my favourite Southern band, without a doubt. And there's a few that I like. But obviously my plethora of metal that I like, but they really do stick out to me, as you know, as I've said on a few of the reactions. There's something about them. I don't know what it is, but apparently they've got some ties with like rock and metal. They are rock and metal fans as well. So they're probably writing stuff that I like in that way. You know what I mean? Maybe their songwriting appeals to me, but I think they're fucking excellent. And I'm like you, I think every album is spot on. They haven't made a weak album yet. And they've made some very good ones, excellent ones, and not so good ones, but none of them have been bad.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
But the new one, You Hear Georgia, is out today. 27th of May, like I said, 7th studio album. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, mate, because you're the
just the date, mate. 28.
Yeah. Oh shit. 28th of May. Thanks, mate. Sorry, I don't know why I've written down the 27th. I don't know why. 28th of May. Thanks for correcting me there. Now it's out on Three Legged Records, which is like, I think they've been with them for a little while now, this label. And we just run through the band members. I'm hoping I'll be all right, because I don't know if you've watched any of the videos, mate, but I can't pronounce any names. But even if they're English half the time. So we've got Charlie Starr, who's the main guy in the band, vocalist, lead guitarist. Richard Turner on the bass. Britt Turner on the drums, Paul Jackson on the guitar, Brandon Steele on keyboards or pianos, whatever, all that stuff. Benji Shanks on the other guitar. He's like a touring member, but I think he's part of the band now. Yeah, as far as I know now. And Preston Holcomb was a percussion. He's also a touring guy. And also they've got a couple of ladies singing as well, like backing vocals on this. Quite a bit on this album, actually.
Yeah, Cherie and Sharita, I think is how you say it. Black Betty's.
Yeah, Blackberry. So they do a great job on here and all, I must say, which I'll be mentioning a little bit later. So it's a big band. It's like there's a few people.
It's grown.
Yeah, it has grown all of a sudden as well, mainly. So what we're going to do, I mean, I want to ask you first, mate, before we go on to the actual album. I love the album cover, by the way. Let's just say I didn't expect to talk about that, but the artwork, have you got it there on you?
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at that.
It's quite nice looking.
It is. It's very nice indeed.
I particularly like the inside, actually, because inside you can see the band members next to the bus going nowhere. And in the booklet inside, it comes with all the lyrics. So it's perfect for me because I like to sing along. So yeah, I'm happy the lyrics are there.
No, that's great.
Yeah, it's a nice little piece. I'm sure there's some better versions like the vinyl that I've seen on the social media and that. But I'm quite happy with the CD for the minute. But yeah.
I like they sort of do this a lot on their covers where it really looks sort of old-fashioned, authentic. That's sort of, really, really cool album cover. The next thing I want to talk about is the mix on the album. So the production, the mix, how it sounds. I mean, you're in a band, didn't you, mate? Or you play guitar and stuff like that?
Played in a band a long time ago. I'm not in a band now. Yeah, I think it's got I mean, it's produced by Dave Cobb. I think it's got quite a unique sound. I think as the band has grown slightly, I think the sound has changed a little bit. But I mean, every band evolves, so I'm not complaining. I do like the fact there's more members, you know, more versatility.
Yeah.
I think on a lot of the tracks, Charlie's voice sounds really clear and crisp, which you don't always get. So I do think it's got a really nice sound to the new production.
I've got to say, I do love the sound of the album. It's I did notice one thing, and it's from the off really, and we'll get on to, like I said, to the track by track. We're going to look at it track by track, but very bassy, which I like. The bass came in at the beginning, and I was, wow, that sounds brilliant. And obviously, not just the bass playing, Richard Turner, but the sound. They've got it ramped right up, haven't they? The bass on this, which is cool, which is really cool. I mean, as far as the sound of it is concerned and the style, they always do something a bit different. But this one really, for me, it sounds like a mixture of a few of the albums. I hear definitely Like an Arrow. Some of that stripped down sort of sound sometimes. Yeah. A bit of the last album. I love the last album, by the way. Find a Light. I love it. Absolutely love it. Mainly of them two. I find it's like a mixture of those two albums for me. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I'd agree with that. Not that it sounds the same, but it is similar. There is one track which reminds me, it's called Old Enough to Know, on the new album. Reminds me a little bit of I Ain't Got the Blues Anymore.
Yeah.
It's a very similar sounding riff, but it's a different sound, but it just reminds me of that tune a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few on it that give me sort of, you know, just similarities. Like you said, it's not the same. Because bands are bands, aren't they? They have got a certain sound, the smoke, and you listen to them, you know it's them. But you know, it just it's got that feel. It's got that feel of those two albums for me.
Yeah, they're very distinct, unique. And as soon as you hear Charlie's voice, it's instant, and you just know.
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through track by track. And I've only listened to this album once. You got the album yesterday, didn't you, mate? And how many times have you ran through
it? Probably about 5 or 6 since yesterday.
So
had the missus and kids not been here, it'd probably be more like 105 or 105.
So, I mean, I've been at work all day, so I've got it on Spotify, and I've had a good listen to it like once through. And of course, I listened to the singles before. They released a lot of songs before. That's the thing. But what I don't listen to them too much before the album comes out. I like to listen to it. I'll listen to them once, do the reaction to it. And I maybe listen to it while I'm editing, and then I'll just listen to the album as a whole, because that's how I like listening to albums.
It's unusual for me because obviously we've all had to wait for this, which was quite painful. But obviously I found the band sort of March last year, so I've only been a fan for just over a year really. So I'm still learning about them. But you know, I've got all the albums, and it's been the band that keeps giving. But obviously, having to wait for this was different to finding them after they've been around for 20 years, and I had loads of songs to choose from. So it's been quite difficult waiting for this. I've got to be honest. It's been worth the wait, though.
I must say one thing. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, a lot of songs released before, you heard before the album come out. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that, but I understand now how it works. After speaking to a couple of artists about how the industry works now, and all the sales happen as soon as it comes out, and then it just goes. The sales just go. So back in the 80s, when bands used to bring one song out a few weeks before the album, and then it used to just go on and on, the sales over a year or 2 years. But now it just, as soon as it's out, everyone gets it, whichever way they get it, and then it's gone. So you can understand they plug as much as they can beforehand to get it going, So, right, 10 tracks, mate. We're going to all go through them in order of how we feel about them. You're going to go first, if that's all right, mate. The first track, Live It Down. How'd you get up? We're not going to score them or anything. I mean, unless you have.
I have scored them, but
I have as well, but I did.
I can't help myself, mate. I'm anal with stuff like that. I've got to put them in order of how I like them and all that. But yeah, I mean, far away. So the first one's called "Live It Down." For me, it's a typical Blackberry Smoke sound. Even if I didn't know who Blackberry Smoke was, I think if I heard it for the first time, I'd know it was them. For me, that one's okay. I think there are better ones on the album, but that's not to say I don't like it, because I do like it. But with a lot of music, I'm quite harsh when it comes to music, so the songs grow on me. But it's a good track, so if it starts off good, it's normally going to end up amazing. But yes, I think it's a good track.
What did you score it?
I gave it between 7 and 7.5 out of 10. So I'm on the fence.
This is the thing, I've got a bit harsher on my scoring, and it might not show, I don't know, compared to yours. Perhaps you're harsher than me, but over time, since I've been doing the channel, I used to score everything high. And it just became ridiculous, because you just like, everything's great, you know. So I try to be as harsh as I can and truthful as I can. So I will do it. So Live It Down for me, this is one of my favourites actually, because after it, that sort of real, I love the sound of their guitars. Proper dirty riff comes in at the beginning. And then this is the first time I noticed that bass. When it came in, I thought, whoa, do you know what I mean? That's loud. That sounds louder than it ever has on any of their albums, in my opinion. A real fun song. It sort of reminded me, and nothing like these songs, but it had the fun sound of something like Six Ways to Sunday or Good One coming on. That sort of fun start to the album. Totally different than the last album. Do you remember what was the first track on the last album? Make that dirty sort of
Flesh and Bone.
Yeah, that had a completely different sort of kickoff to an album for them. Sort of real dirty, grimy sort of sound, but this one was more fun.
I think it's a good way to open an album with it's a very upbeat track, isn't it? It's quick, it's in your face.
Definitely,
quite raw.
And I noticed that I really am happy about the backing vocals of the girls on here, the ladies on here, because I love Skinner, man. I don't know about you, Lynyrd Skynyrd. They're just, and it reminds me of some of the Skinner songs when I used to have ladies backing vocals, especially live. But I gave it an 8.
Well, that's okay, isn't it? I mean, I gave it 7 to 7.5. Mine will probably grow, mate. So mine will probably end up 8, 9. I don't know yet, but
yeah, you got to remember, this is for one, this is the first time I've heard it, but for two as well. That's one of my favourite tracks. So that's how harsh I am. That's one of my favourite ones. That one. So I gave it an
8. Interesting.
Okay, next up, the first single we heard, actually, You Hear Georgia. Title track.
I like that one a little bit more. I gave that 7.5 as a starting point. For me, that's a proper country song. I mean, I know the clue's in the title, but it's got Georgia written all over it, isn't it? Yeah, it's a brilliant song. I really like that track. Yeah. 7.5 on that one for me. I don't know about you, Lee.
Yeah, same score, mate. 7.5. So I like the title track, the first track, a little bit more, but I think this really could be a grower as well. I mean, I have only listened to it a couple of times, but this is one that gave me a real Like an Arrow vibes. This one.
Yeah.
You know it, especially there's like a pre-chorus, I think, and it almost. I'm not saying it sounds the same, but that gave me those vibes straight away. I absolutely love You Here, Georgia. Brilliant song. Moving on to track 3, mate. A bit of a different tune.
Yeah.
I think this is the second or third single. I'm not sure. Hey Delilah.
Hey Delilah, you got the power over me.
Go on then, because when you messaged me about this song, you weren't too sure about this one. How do you feel about it now?
I mean, the album's class, don't get me wrong, and I think a sign of a good album is being able to listen to it without being able to skip a track, which I am able to do with this and all Blackberry Smoke albums, to tell you the truth. And I don't dislike it, but it's probably my least favourite song on the new album, so I've given it a 6. It could grow, but it's just not my cup of tea, unfortunately.
Looking at the scores, how you're doing these scores, you're scoring them very similar to what I do. People might say it's a bit harsh, but you have got to, because where do you go when you want to go, But I like it. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, sorry. I tried so hard, because obviously being a bit of a fanboy, if I had my way, I'd give them all 10s, but I just can't do that.
Yeah. So
I think 6 is fair. It's not a bad score. It's not a great score. It could grow on me. I know it's popular, that song, but it's just not for me. So we can't all agree, can we? But
They do have them really fun songs occasionally, don't they? There was a couple on Holding All the Roses and Like an Arrow. There's some real fun songs they do sometimes, more upbeat, that sort of real happy sort of songs. I like it. It's my least favourite on the album so far. So the first two tracks were better for me. I've given it a 7. But it does give another flavour, doesn't it? And that's what the Smoke do. They give you something else,
it's different, isn't it? It's different.
Definitely.
I hope it grows on me.
I'm sure it will, mate. Track 4 is Ain't the Same.
Nothing's really changed, but it ain't the same.
This was the last single I think they brought out before the album came out.
All Rise Again. After that was the last one, wasn't it?
I think. Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah. So Ain't the Same is the next track. What do you reckon on that one, mate?
Well, this one, although it's got a very country sort of vibe to it, I absolutely love this track. And although I've heard it many times now, even when I first heard it, it was straight away high up there. So no questions, this is a 9 for me. It's an amazing tune, nice melody. It's very upbeat. I know some of the lyrics aren't upbeat, but the sound is. So yeah, mate, that's one of my favourites on the album. So a solid 9 out of 10 there. And I do score harsh, so a 9 is good. And it will grow as well, so it could potentially become a 10, but at the moment it's a 9.
Got such a cool groove to this song, man. I love it. I do love the song. I've not scored it as high as you. The first track is still the same, the best track for me, but I've given it a 7.5. So that's like, that's a really good score for me, by the way. So it just glides along, man. It glides along on this really nice sound all the way through it. It's just, what a great track. What a great track.
Lyrics in that one.
It is brilliant lyrics, mate. Okay, next we've got Lonesome for a Living featuring Jamie Johnson.
Yeah.
Who's Jamie Johnson, mate? Because I'm not an expert. Have you looked up?
No, I mean, according to the he's on the guest. I don't know if he's done any songs in the past. I'm really not sure. I know Warren Haynes has done a bit of work with him previously, but I've not heard the name Jamie Johnson before now, mate. So I'm same as you. I'm not really sure.
That's all right. No worries, mate. What do you reckon of that one then?
Similar to the first one in terms of scoring, I'm on the fence with it. I do like it. Like I say, there isn't a song in this album I do not like. So I've given it. I was sort of like 7, maybe 7.5. So 7.25 for that one. I can't decide.
It's probably my least favourite one so far. Although I'm like you, I love all the songs. There's nothing bad. Well, I don't love them. They're all good. Every song is either good to brilliant. So this is sort of the most country so far, isn't it? This song, very, very country.
Oh, yes, very country. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got a problem with that. When the Smoke do it, I sometimes have when other bands do it. There's something about when Blackberry Smoke do it, I like it. And there's a lot of country stuff I can't stand, but when they do it, they just do it right for some reason. Yeah. But I've just given it a 6, that one, mate. So that's my lowest score so far. Although it's a first listen as well, though. So you know what I mean? It's
I mean, you've only heard the album once, haven't you?
Yeah. Exactly. We've got to get it out there. We've got to tell people that ain't heard it what it's like.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, it. So that's half the album done, mate. And then we move on to another single, All Rise Again. This is one that's featuring Warren Haynes.
Yeah. Oh man, this tune for me, this is up there. Again, amazing track, amazing lyrics. I absolutely love it when Warren comes in. He sounds absolutely electric, and the solo as well. It's something about that solo. It's a very strange sounding solo, but I just absolutely love it. That's probably the song that I've played the most. If I'm honest, I have it on in the car on repeat, because it's like proper habit. It's in your face. I love it. And again, it's a solid 9. It's a cracking song. Solid 9 out of 10. Yeah,
this is a fucking brilliant song, mate. This is an absolute. And I love the way they've really balanced the album nice, because they had that real country song like before it, Lonesome for a Living, and then where this comes in, how you listen to the album, it's perfect because it just hits you right with the rock straight away. Very cool song, very brilliant riffs, and like you said, it's got Skinner vibes for me as well. Love
Yeah,
Skinner.
definitely.
And yeah, I love the swapping of the vocals. Absolutely superb. I've given that a 9. That one. So
That's quite good for you, mate. Yeah, 9. Same for me.
It's for me, mate.
Quite similar scores here, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. Okay, so 7th track, Old Enough to Know.
Yeah. Again, for me, I mean, like you say, they go from hard to soft. This is another classic, another solid 9 out of 10. This is the song
Nice.
that reminds me a little bit of I Ain't Got the Blues Anymore from the previous albums.
Yeah.
The riff at the beginning is quite similar, but it's I can't help but tap my feet when that's playing. It's a great track. Like I say, it's one of their slower tunes, but it's great. It's
I love, man, when I love his voice just with an acoustic guitar, and you get that like at the beginning, and then you get the acoustic guitar coming through the song and the sound they've got as well. I just love acoustic guitar. I don't love acoustic guitars constantly, but even on metal records, when I hear an acoustic guitar, I'd rather hear that than a clean, like an amp, like an electric guitar with a clean effect. There's nothing like an acoustic guitar when a band uses it properly.
I do prefer their acoustic stuff to their rock stuff, if I'm honest. But that's not to say I don't like their rock stuff, because their rock stuff's brilliant. But yeah, it's one of them. As soon as I heard it, solid 9. You'll have to excuse my dog,
mate. It's usually me. Don't worry, it's usually me.
He's just seen a squirrel run over.
My dogs are starting a minute, and the cat. Don't worry, so it'll be all right. Yeah,
on the internet, any.
Yeah, I love it, man. But I do like the song, but it's not one of my highest scores. I've given it a 7. That one, mate.
Okay.
Then we're on to Morningside.
Yeah, I'll put a question mark next to this one.
Oh yeah.
I've given it 8 out of 10, so it's higher than Hey Delilah, for example. I need to listen to it again, but it's a great song. I'm not going to deny that. That's why I've given it 8 out of 10. I don't really know what to say about that track at the moment. It's a good track. I like it. Not the best on the album, but it's definitely nowhere near the worst.
It's a bit rockier, obviously.
Yeah,
and like I said, they're balancing this album really well, because you get a softer one, you get a heavier one, you get soft, and this goes a bit rockier as well. So this, I think, I mean, I know they pull some of their influences obviously out of the 70s, but this for me has got the most 70s vibe throughout this song. I don't know what it is about it. I just thought straight away that's got a real 70s vibe. Very cool song. Quite a high score for me though, 7.5. I've given that one, mate. Okay, next track 9, All Over the Road. We're coming to a blooming close. It's a bit too short, this album, for my liking, but
Somebody get the wheel, I'm all over the road.
All Over the Road. That's the next one, mate.
Yeah.
Track 9.
Track 9, All Over the Road. Again, this is in the same category for me as Hey Delilah. It might be a bit controversial, because I know that on the Blackberry Smoke page, it's very popular. But again, it's just not for me. It's like too quick. There's too much going on in this track. I've scored it higher than Hey Delilah. I'm sort of like 7, maybe a 7.5. I can't quite decide. But I've put a question mark, so I'm going to give it 7 for this one. It's just not my cup of tea, unfortunately.
I mean, I've given it a 7. But I mean, I do quite. It's like a 12-bar boogie song a bit, in it. It's a bit like it's got those. Don't like to say it, but then status quo sort of riffing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they've done that.
I'm glad you said it, but I was thinking that at the beginning. But I mean, again, it's one of them. I do like it, but it's just not my favourite.
I mean, to tell you the truth, that Quo stuff. I mean, I was massively into Quo when I was younger. But their early stuff, when they were a bit dirtier, before they went all poppy. But that's got that sort of vibe. And they've done this sort of thing before, haven't they? That 12-bar boogie type stuff.
Yeah,
they do it occasionally. They've done it on the, especially on the.
I'm just trying to think what the other one was called. And again, it's very popular, but I didn't like that one either.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called now.
Nah. I think it was the Like an Arrow album where they've done a couple of poppy ones, and Holding All the Roses as well. Like those, not poppy, those 12-bar boogie type rock and roll song.
So track 2 on Like an Arrow, Let It Burn.
Yeah.
That's quite like that one in the beginning bit. It's, you know, it's quite quick and yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely, mate. But I don't mind it. I'm giving it a 7, and then we
Yeah,
move
me
on
too.
to the last track. Sadly, Old Scarecrow. Funny title. I was looking forward to this one because of the title. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's unusual, isn't it? I thought
Yeah.
it might have been about an axe or something.
Yeah. What do you reckon of that one? They make the closer.
Well, the closer for me, I'm on the fence. Not in terms of I don't like it. I'm on the fence in terms of is it my favourite on the album? Because I've given Ain't the Same, All Rise Again, and Old Enough to Know solid 9s, and this one I'm torn between 9 and 9.5. So I think I'm gonna stick my neck out and say 9.5 for this one. My favourite track on the album. Great way to end the album, and it's just awesome. It's an amazing tune.
I've scored it high as well. I've given it an 8.5, which is like I think the second highest I've given.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, very cool track. I mean, I love it. What I call light and shade to some quiet parts and some. It's a really interesting listen. Do you know what I mean?
It was like a grower for me. I heard it when I first heard it. I wasn't sure, and I was sort of leaning towards Ain't the Same and the other, All Rise Again and Old Enough to Know. But yeah, after a few more listens, and I listened to it once more before me and you spoke, and yeah, I think that's the best one on the album. Very unique sound. So,
and listen, I think all these scores for me will go up because I've listened to it once, and like you said, it's grown on you since you've had it, and I think it's going to do exactly. Most albums do, don't they? The first listen's a bit. I just wanted to get this video out there quick to let the guys know who hasn't heard it yet, because there's probably some that are waiting for their CDs, you know. So
yeah, of course.
All in all, I love it. I think it just fits in perfectly with everything they've done, and like I say, it does sound like a bit of a mixture of a couple of their albums. You know, it will do though, because they're on their 7th album. You know what I mean? And they've got that sound. So, like, you know, I don't know what your favourite album is, mate. We haven't actually spoken about this, but where would you actually put this in your? With the amount of times you've heard it, where would you put this? Would you put it in out of the 7 albums?
Right. So right now, I wouldn't put it as my favourite. I would put the Whippoorwill probably first. Find a Light and Like an Arrow very close in behind that. But I think once I've listened to it a bit more, I think it's got potential to be on par with some of the better albums. But I think Whippoorwill does take some beating. Find a Light's got some classics on it as well, as does Like an Arrow. I think it's better than some of their older ones. So at the moment, I'd put it in the middle. But I think over time it could, you know, creep up in my opinion. It's not their best album, I don't think. But that may be down to the fact that there's 10 songs on it, and on the other albums, you know, there's a lot more. So you've got more choice. But yeah, I mean, it is a good album. But yes, it's not my favourite album. No.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Whippoorwill is my favourite as well, and I, like you, Find a Light as well.
Yeah,
I thought that absolutely brilliant album. But this one, I think, could either definitely take the 3rd spot, because although I probably Like an Arrow is probably in 4th for me, and this one would actually take the 3rd spot, and that's our first listen. So yeah, I mean,
it's the same 4 albums for me, but I would just swap Like an Arrow to 3rd and this one 4th at the moment. I'd say I need to listen to it a bit more. So yeah, it's in my top 4, I would say, of albums, but that could change. Yeah, it could be higher.
So really, a big thumbs up from both of us, mate. Some great scores there.
Oh yes.
Recommend this without a doubt. If you love the smoke, you're gonna like it. You probably ordered it anyway, ain't you? But I don't.
There's not many albums out there that you can stick in your system, push play, and not skip, and you can do that with this album quite easily.
Yes, mate.
A couple of them are not for me, but they're all good. You know, so
yeah, no, it's great, mate.
Keep making good music, and I can't wait till the next album comes out.
Well, let's hope they do like that was the year that was Like an Arrow, wasn't it? When they brought one out the following year after it was like a really quick release. It was like I couldn't believe it was that good considering they just brought an album out. But hopefully they'll do that again. You never know.
I want to one day bucket list go to the States and see them live. That would just be amazing. But also, you know, can't wait for them to come to the UK and come and see us over here. Yeah. That'd be just out of this world. Yeah, I've not seen them live. You know, I've only ever seen videos on YouTube and just watched them enviously. So it's bucket list for me to go and see them. UK, in the States. Yeah, just can't wait.
I've been lucky enough to see them a few times now. I think about, including festivals, probably about 4 or 5 times now. And they were brilliant every time. Absolutely.
Was that all in the UK?
Yes, mate. All in the UK. I saw them at the Roundhouse in London, which was a really good gig. I've seen where else did I see them? I've seen them at a smaller venue, Shepherd's Bush, I think I might have seen them. Then I saw them at Download Festival, and they fitted in just perfectly, even though there's all this metal going on. They was just brilliant that day. Yeah. And the best time I saw them was at Moat Park in Maidstone, and that was 20 minutes from where I used to live. Literally just travelled down there, watched them on the Sunday bill, travelled down, watched them, and went home again. And it's brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. One of the best gigs I've actually been to. And they only played for like 45 minutes to an hour. It was absolutely amazing.
I'm very jealous.
We'll get to see them, mate. We'll get to see them, hopefully.
Sorry, mate.
You will get to see them. Hopefully they'll come somewhere near us.
Definitely. Yeah. They do a tour on the ferry in between our houses, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, Plymouth could be a good one because probably got about, it's about 2,000 people fit in that. And I think
pavilions?
Is it Plymouth? It's about 2,000, is it? Or is it a bit more?
I'd say a bit more. I'd say maybe 4.
They could. Yeah, I've seen. There's a lot of rock fans down this way, so you never know. They could fill it out. Yeah. But listen, mate, thanks for coming on for the first time. It's been absolutely great.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's been fun.
No worries.
A bit nervous before I come on, but yeah, it's been all right.
Nah, you've been perfect, mate, and huge Smoke fan. Perfect to have on. Just in the comments below, guys. Obviously, most of you have probably got the album now. Let us know what you think of the album. Let us know if you agree with some of the tracks or disagree with us. We all got our own opinions, and that's what it's all about this band we love. Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. See you later, mate.
See you later.